Space whales? Nope, rather deal with devils. Chapter 5 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. Just like my brutal soul edges design in my soulbound Greasword, I found out very quickly that I naturally gravitated towards more brutal and violent methods of fighting as I fought Tsubaki, Sona's queen dirtily by making the semi-sentient soul within soul edge developed a mouth on the fleshy bits of the sword, and while my sword and her spear clashed. As we came in for another clash, soul edge screamed an unholy tune that attacked people's very souls, with Tsubaki violently vomiting as her sense of balance was utterly destroyed. "Tsubaki, you alright?" Sona asked, raising an eyebrow as she sat beside her sister, who was still pulling pieces of lettuce from Sona's salad out of her hair. Tsubaki whirled her arms in Sona's direction as I respectfully gave her some space as she got her breath back, and as she stood up, she grimaced as she wiped her mouth clean, but as she went to take a step, I saw her totter in place as it was clear the room was still spinning to her from my sword's sonic attack. So I guess seeing you in combat won't necessarily give me an idea of your skills if your attacks can incapacitate my queen within a dozen clashes, Sona said dryly with a sigh. It's not necessarily her fault. I don't exactly have a foundation for combat, so I just do what I think will make me win a fight. I said wryly, and she snorted with Seraphol nodding. That's the right way to look at it in any case. But my adorable Sona is right, your methods aren't the usual light spears or magical glyphs and spells we're used to. So I will dance with you for a bit, she said excitedly, and as her power flooded the area and I could literally feel my clothes freezing and cracking as I was on the citry water manipulation to ease the temperature around me. So you are capable of quickly responding to the sub-zero temperature of the icy mist I create. Now let's see how you handle some real ice, Seraphol cackled, and then my eyes dramatically widened as the star-filled night sky above me was replaced with a massive falling glacier, seemingly bigger than a stadium, falling towards us. Without a word, I flew into the air a couple of inches off the ground, and then I put the mystical pedal to the metal as I shot forward as fast as I could to the side. While Seraphol giggled madly and made the massive flying glacier stop in midair, and then, like the world's scariest boomerang, whirl around and begin tracking me through the air to smash me with its bulk. I whipped my hand at the small mountain of ice and a citry magic circle spawned to life, and I drank of the energies of the world around me as I used it and my own energy to make the blue magical circle shoot an ultra-compressed lance of water that created a cracking noise that I could feel in my chest as the multi-ton piece of ice got sliced in half by the ultra-high-pressure beam of water. Come on, Jake, you were supposed to make another mountain of ice and smash it into my ice mountain, and when yours shattered, I was going to make fun of your ice for not being dense enough. Seraphol scolded, pouting before she grinned, and I wanted to cry as she held up her arms and chanted some chunny lines. "Ice and frost of the endless winter, I call upon our contract." She roared, and a massive citry glyph formed over our heads, and I stopped flying and just landed silently beside Sona, who was deadpanning up at the sky. The Levi then created the seas and gave birth to life by holding back the freeze, but I am breaking the seals upon the chill of the void. Seraphol dramatically flexed in the air, and I saw Sona visibly shudder at the cringe as Seraphol's JoJo stance. Celsius trigger. Seraphol finally finished her little chant of chunny cringe, and the mountain we were teleported to after dinner was completely covered in a deep frost. As I took a step away from Sona, I shuddered as I could feel and heard the grass shatter into dust under my feet, as it was so deeply frozen. Look at my power, Jake. This is the power of the citry bloodline. Seraphol said like a villain while she covered half her face with her hand, clad in the gloves used in her magical girl outfit, and I could see her eyes were glowing with power. The eye that was partly covered by her gloved hand gave her a stronger presence that would make her almost look scary with her power, but honestly, her scary presence was ruined by her giggling and Sona's utterly flat reaction. "Are you done now, big sister? You ruined my training lodge away from the school," Sona said, utterly deadpanning at her sister, who had covered half her face with her hands and froze at her little sister's reaction. "Not to mention Jake, who never agreed to get bullied by you, and what do you even think to learn from fighting him in this way when he can barely handle your passive freezing effect?" Sona continued chastising her sister, who slumped to the ground, pouting. Eventually, after Sona got some words in on my end, I spoke up wryly. "Anyway, as I said before, I am a world traveler of sorts, and although my powers have some rules and contracts bound into it that I need to complete to unlock their full abilities, it doesn't change the fact that I am a blank slate of potential that needs to be molded. Just teach me what you can, as practically everything will have its use." I finished with Sona, focusing on me. "Very well, I will teach you what I know of the citry magic while my peerage teaches you more refined methods of fighting. Now let's go back to Kuo while my dear sister fixes my lodge." Sona said with a twitching eyebrow as she grabbed my arm to teleport us back to Kuo, as Seraphol cried out pitifully about the work in front of her. The Citri magic of water manipulation was apparently very different from normal water manipulation, as it was the intrinsic manipulation of the concept of water to do whatever the hell I wanted it to do. I could use it as a blunt force like Sona did in making large water constructs that could attack with limited sentience. I could use it like Seraphol in making ice and controlling the battlefield by making it obscenely cold to the point people died by breathing in the sheer cold. Or I could go down different paths, as Sona explained how, for example, the contracted mages working in the Citri hospitals used their own version of the Citri water magic to heal by manipulating the water within other people, as well as giving the water they conjured a dense amount of life force. But there were the more offensive options, like how the original Citri used her water manipulation to cut people and then, within moments, drain all the blood and ichor from their bodies by pulling the water out of their bodies. So what should I focus on then? I asked Sona, and she cutely held a finger up to her chin as she clearly was thinking about my question before she spoke with a more confident smile. I will teach you my own style of liquid water manipulation with water construct-like golems you can imbue with your will, as my other peerage members will be teaching you more direct forms of combat and magic, Sona said confidently, and I agreed with her thoughts honestly, as having control in a large-scale battle is very important. Then Sona snapped her fingers, and I saw a bit of the mischievous joy that filled Seraphol all the time. In the vein of teaching you magical construct control, let's see how good you are in chess, as the style people play in tells the opponent much about them. She grinned, and I held in my look of pity as I had a number of conceptual perks that improved my memory. I literally was an asshole that had every single possible movement and outcome of chess ingrained into my head.